Hey everyone, in this video I want to talk about Infinity Ward's next Call of Duty game after Modern Warfare 3. So as you know, this year we're apparently going to be seeing Modern Warfare 3. It's funny, we've literally got Modern Warfare 2 and 3 back to back, and that's because apparently Modern Warfare 3 was originally supposed to be an expansion pack with campaign DLC for Modern Warfare 2 released in its year 2, because Activision were planning to go to a biannual cycle for Call of Duty, where instead of getting a game every single year, we would instead get a game every other year with an expansion pack for the main Call of Duty in between. And the reason why they decided to change plans was due to Vanguard underperforming in sales apparently. However, Modern Warfare 2 sold really well, so I'm guessing that's probably why they changed their plans, and this expansion pack has instead been turned into Modern Warfare 3. Now apparently, this game is being headed by SHGames, not Infinity Ward, although Infinity Ward will of course be the main writers for the campaign's narrative and all of the storyline stuff. Infinity Ward won't be leading Modern Warfare 3. I'm sure they'll have some influence and oversight, especially regarding the narrative, but Sledgehammer will be the ultimate ones when it comes to making gameplay decisions. Now, the reason why I want to talk about Infinity Ward's next game is because in 2024, we will apparently be seeing the sequel to Black Ops Cold War set in the 90s by Treyarch. So, what are Infinity Ward working on after that? Well, I previously assumed that they would probably be working on Modern Warfare 4, but I assumed that this was probably originally meant to be the true Modern Warfare 3, since this year's Modern Warfare 3, like I said before, was apparently just supposed to be campaign DLC. So with that being said, I tweeted out my thoughts on this, and Charlie Intel replied to me saying that this is false, and I don't know of course what he means by that. I can only speculate as to what exactly he means. Is he saying that Infinity Ward are working on a different Call of Duty game, not Modern Warfare 4, as their next game, or is he saying something else regarding what I stated is false? As we were saying, I'm not entirely sure, since this is just speculation. In fact, we've actually just learned that Infinity Ward have opened up a brand new studio in Barcelona, and we don't know exactly what the team is up to there, but it's probably something for the next game after Modern Warfare 3. However, with this year's Modern Warfare 3, the storyline is going to start really ramping up in the Modern Warfare franchise, because we're finally going to be seeing the return of Makarov, and we're going to be seeing the new version of No Russian, with the Russian ultranationalists hijacking a commercial plane, and this may potentially lead into a World War III-like scenario similar to the original Modern Warfare 3. That was the main marketing for that game, where they would do the World War III and then it transforms into the Modern Warfare 3 logo. Now, I don't know if they would do the same marketing this time around due to the events happening in the real world right now. I don't know if that would be too close to home and they would want to sway away from potentially angering anyone or being seen as insensitive. I'm not entirely sure. Of course, I'm not involved in the PR. I have no idea how they work these things out. But regardless of that fact, what exactly are Infinity Ward up to next? Like I was saying, are they going to be trying to do a Modern Warfare 4? Now, when I used to have sources, of course I quit years ago, I was told that Infinity Ward apparently had plans for future games after Modern Warfare 2019, where each game would tackle one of the 4 horsemen. However, I think plans have completely changed, because of course we didn't see that at all in Modern Warfare 2, apart from the Makarov reveal at the end. Modern Warfare 3 will be tackling Makarov, and we have Al-Assad in the storyline, but of course the other 2 Zakhaevs are apparently dead, and due to them being dead, we only have 2 of the 4 horsemen, so the future games surely can't tackle each one of them. So I think the storyline likely changed after the old Infinity Ward writers left. Maybe that was a plan at one point in time, and it especially seems this way considering the fact that Modern Warfare 2's campaign is an indirect sequel to Modern Warfare 2019. I feel like at one point in time when the old Infinity Ward writers were there, they might have planned for it to be a direct sequel instead of it being an indirect sequel set years after, and you didn't really need to know much of Modern Warfare 2019's campaign to understand what was going on inside of Modern Warfare 2. And I really do think that the original plan was to have a Modern Warfare game centered around each of the 4 horsemen, because if we look at the narrative that was being set up in Modern Warfare 2019, it seems largely different from what we ended up receiving in Modern Warfare 2. In Spec Ops, they set up Imran Zakhaev as being Mr. Z. You can clearly see this is Imran Zakhaev. However, we then later learned that Imran Zakhaev was killed in the past, and then he made a random cameo appearance in Black Ops Cold War that was probably not planned when they initially wrote Modern Warfare 2019, and then they retconned Mr. Z to instead be Imran Zakhaev's son, Victor Zakhaev. However, we can clearly see in this image that we got of Mr. Z that it's clearly Imran Zakhaev, but plans must have changed. But apparently, according to the in-game canon, Imran wasn't even alive at the time this picture was taken, so it just makes no sense at all. I think what they were planning to do do at one point in time is pretend like Imran was dead, and then we would later find out that he was indeed still alive, but of course very old. And then his son Victor ended up dying at the end of Warzone's storyline as Captain Price threw him off of the edge as Victor was trying to launch one of the missiles from the bunker. And it just seemed like Infinity Ward randomly killed off Victor Zakhaev out of nowhere completely at the end. And again, it seems like this wasn't the original intention. It seemed like Spec Ops and especially Warzone was setting Victor Zakhaev up to be the next villain in the next game. However, they ended up just killing him off randomly at the end, which is again why I think plans changed. I think Modern Warfare 2 might have been following directly on from that Warzone storyline at one point in time, but maybe because Warzone blew up, they had to change plans for what they were doing with the storyline, especially with them obviously integrating the Modern Warfare rebooted universe with the Black Ops storyline, with Imran making a cameo in Black Ops Cold War's campaign. Plans drastically changed, and in Spec Ops and Warzone they were also setting up Al-Assad, and then we never saw him in Modern Warfare 2's campaign either. Although he is still alive, he will show up in the future if he is indeed Hadir. We have already seen him in the raids, but we're still just waiting for the official reveal that Hadir might actually be Al-Assad. So what are Infinity Ward up next? I don't mean to leave you on a cliffhanger here, but that is what I want to talk about in a little second. But first of all, I have an awesome message to share with you, and then we'll jump into what I think they might be working on. I'll see you in a sec. This video has been kindly sponsored by Software Keep, which provides digital software products including Windows 10, Windows 11, Microsoft Offices, and antiviruses for much cheaper than the retail price. If you are in need of Office or other softwares, browse their site. The average customer saves 25% as Microsoft overcharges. What's more is that you receive a lifetime year-round protection on all purchases, as Microsoft only provides monthly or yearly subscriptions. Buy once, use forever, because you are worth it. They offer digital keys with top-notch 24/7 customer support with a 30-day money-back guarantee, whereas Microsoft has no refund policy. All your purchases are secure and safe with the lifetime product guarantee. They have over 100,000 customers which have rated their service 5 stars, so join them today by checking them out via the link in the description. And get an additional 20% discount if you use the code TGR20. Okay, so if Infinity Ward are not working on Modern Warfare 4, I still think they're probably going to be working on something Modern Warfare related. And one idea that comes to mind is regarding what the Infinity Ward writers talked about in a prior interview, where they said that they wanted to do a game themed around the origin story of Simon Ghost Riley. Apparently this is something they've been wanting to do for a very long time. Now of course, in the original Modern Warfare trilogy, Ghost was killed off in the second game, so he didn't even really have that much time in the game, but due to his short time just being in one game, he became a massive fan favorite and very beloved by the community. And he did receive an origin story, however that was in the form of a comic book and it wasn't done in a game. But Infinity Ward apparently want to write a origin story for this reboot, this new version of Simon Ghost Riley. And maybe this could be what Infinity Ward are actually working on next. But if this is the case, why would they choose not to do Modern Warfare 4? Is it just because they want to do something different, a bit different to what the community expected? Or is it because the Modern Warfare story might finish with Modern Warfare 3, or at least most of the loose ends might be tied up? I really don't know, because I don't think that's going to be the case. I think they could keep producing Modern Warfare games for eons, honestly. Obviously in the original trilogy, after Modern Warfare 3, they didn't release a Modern Warfare 4 because almost everything was tied up. There wasn't really much room for them to go moving forward, especially considering the fact that most of the main characters end up dying by the end of Modern Warfare 3. And then we obviously saw Call of Duty Ghosts. Now the interesting thing is that Call of Duty Ghosts in early development was actually planned to have more ties to Simon Ghost Riley. It was supposed to be more tied to the Modern Warfare series, with of course the Ghost team being inspired by Simon Ghost Riley. And maybe part of that campaign was originally supposed to have some sort of flashback, you know, telling the origin story of Simon Ghost Riley, but that never ended up happening. And maybe with Infinity Ward's next game, they might be able to do what they originally wanted to do with Call of Duty Ghosts, where they might try and do a retelling of the Simon Ghost Riley origin story. Maybe they could even do something similar to Call of Duty Ghosts, because of course we had the Ghost team in Modern Warfare 2. And of course that was just due to the Mexican Special Forces and Task Force 141 teaming up together, but maybe they could expand on that in Modern Warfare 3, where we see something similar to Call of Duty Ghost, with them wearing the Ghost masks and being inspired by Simon Ghost Riley. Maybe if they were to do a Ghost origin story, it could be maybe actually set after Modern Warfare 3, but then it's a mixture between flashbacks flashbacks with Ghost's origin story and then what is happening in present day with a potential Ghost team, but that's just one idea. Anyways, if you are unfamiliar with Simon Ghost Riley's original origin story, it's actually very dark. So coming from the Call of Duty wiki, before he joined the military, Simon Riley had a very traumatic childhood while growing up in Manchester, England, because of his hatless father. His father often brought dangerous animals back to their home and taunted him with them, even going so far as to force Simon to kiss a snake. When he and his younger brother Tommy grew older, Tommy would always wear a skull mask at night to scare Simon. Simon's father would sometimes take him to the Bone Lickers concerts. At one concert, his father made him laugh at the death of a prostitute who had overdosed on drugs. Simon used to be an apprentice butcher at a grocery, but joined the military after the September 11 attacks occurred. He was eventually accepted into the Special Air Service. Returning home on leave in January 2003, Simon found his mother and brother had hit rock bottom. His brother Tommy was addicted to drugs and had been stealing from their mother to support his habit. Simon chose to not return to the military until he had straightened things out for his family. He worked to help Tommy overcome his drug addiction and, in March 2004, beat his father and threw him out of the house for all of the abuse he had inflicted on Riley and his mother. By June 2006, Tommy had been clean for some time and married a woman named Beth. Riley served as the best man at Tommy's wedding. Beth also gave birth to a young boy named Joseph, who would become Riley's nephew. Simon was pulled from shipping out for an operation in Iran and was attached to an American team tasked with taking down Zaragoza drug cartel headed by Manuel Rober. When he and his team made their move on the Day of the Dead, the team's commanding officer, Major Vernon, betrayed them to the enemy. Riley and his teammates were brought to a brainwashing facility and tortured for months. Despite the torture, Vernon was unable to fully break Riley. Rober and Vernon killed for his future and later buried Riley alive in Vernon's casket, leaving him to die. Using the jawbone from Vernon's rotten corpse, Riley was able to break through the casket, claw his way to freedom, and somehow make it back across the border to Texas. After 4 months, his injuries had healed, but he still suffered from temper management issues, which prevented him from returning to active duty. After meeting up with the other 2 former teammates from that mission, Kevin Sparks and Marcus Washington, he realized that Rober had broken and brainwashed them both. He attempted to kill Sparks but was forced to flee when Washington turned up unexpectedly. Fleeing, he returned home to find Washington had killed his mother, brother Tommy, sister-in-law Beth, and nephew Joseph, alternatively referred to as Jacob. He killed Sparks and Washington before returning to Mexico to take down Rober once and for all. Riley ambushed Rober's right-hand man, Gilberto, and tortured Rober's location out of him. Arriving in Rober's compound, he methodically eliminated Rober's guard patrols before assaulting the mansion itself and, after a prolonged gunfight, killing Rober. Armed with information on Rober's contacts and business dealings, he prepared to leave but was approached by General Shepard, who recruited him to Task Force 141. At one point, he was sent to deal with terrorists who had taken hostages at a grade school in Ukraine. He deliberately let himself get caught and told the terrorists and the children about his past before the rest of the team arrived to free him and the children. One girl asked him if the story of Simon Ghost Riley was true and if Riley was Ghost. He responded saying, "True enough" to that lot. Of course, Shepard then went to tie up loose ends by betraying him, killing both him and Roach, burning their corpses. And that's the entire story of Simon Ghost Riley in the original trilogy, including his origin story in the comic books. His backstory explains as to why he is so psychologically disturbed and wears the mask for anonymity. However, of course, with this reboot, they don't need to tell the origin story exactly the same. What we've seen with the reboot is they do hark back to a lot of similar events that happened in the original trilogy, but things of course aren't told exactly the same. For example, Shepard still betrayed us this time, but the story wasn't exactly as we saw before. So I think they'll use a lot of similar storyline beats as Simon Ghost Riley's original origin story, but they'll tell it quite differently this time. Of course, a lot of Simon Ghost Riley's origin story also doesn't really fit being a campaign. A lot of stuff isn't really fighting enemies and stuff like that, so it wouldn't really fit a campaign. How are you going to build levels around that? So they'll probably have to figure out a way to turn his origin story into a campaign, and I wonder how different they might tell it this time within the reboot. What stuff they'll keep the same, what stuff they'll change, what stuff they'll keep similar but different at the same time, and what stuff will be radically different. Do you think Infinity Ward might be working on a Simon Ghost Riley origin story as their next game? Maybe it'll be called something like Modern Warfare Ghosts. That could be a good name. And then again, they could even tie in some stuff that happened within Call of Duty Ghosts. You know, we've seen, of course, Riley the dog is in this Modern Warfare reboot, so we'll have to wait and see. Anyways, thank you for watching the video, and make sure to subscribe if you're not here for the latest and greatest news and information. So anyways, thank you for watching, and bye.